Hi everybody and welcome back to another Legends of Runeterra video. Today we just barely got the newest set of card reveals, so let's go ahead and watch it. Alright, so the first card up here revealed to us is the landmark, the Howling Abyss. And I mean, this was teased a couple of days ago in their initial sort of reveal for this expansion. So this is a 7 mana card, so the most expensive landmark that we've seen so far. At the round start, create in hand a random level 2 champion that's not in your hand, deck, or play. Alright, yeah, so the Howling Abyss, Aram, in case you're unfamiliar, stands for all random, all mid. It's a gameplay, it's a type of game that you can play in League of Legends where you are all given a random champion and then you are on this map, the Howling Abyss. It's kind of like a one lane map where you're all forced to kind of occupy the same place and fight against each other. So yeah, this card really embodies, I guess, the feeling of the game type, because it's creating you a random level 2, so it's a leveled up champion that's not in your hand, deck, or play, so you could get whatever. This could be really good, it could be really bad depending on the deck archetype that you're running. Yeah, so this could be actually a very interesting card to include. This is looking more like a meme card to me, just because, like, I don't know if it can reliably generate a game finishing unit. What if you get like a leveled up Nautilus, right? It's a bulky body. You get pretty good value out of it, but like his main level up condition or win condition is that he has, sea monsters, which you're not going to have more than likely running the Howling Abyss and Frejlord in your deck. So could be good, could be bad. 7 cost as well, so that means you could generate a leveled up Teemo, for example, which would feel pretty bad. A 2/2 elusive that gets most of his value from having a lot of mushrooms in the deck. So yeah, I could see why this card would not necessarily be like a meta-defining card. It could be fun to play, but I don't know that it's necessarily going to be strong. I think there's just too many random factors about it to really produce a game-winning effect. So there's that. Could be wrong about that. Be fun to experiment with, though. Alright, this next card here, an 8-drop burst speed spell. So yeah, behold cards automatically. This is another kind of behold card. Voices of the Old One. So upon playing this, you get 2 empty mana gems. So this is effectively a 6 mana card instead. For the top 4 cards in your deck, draw each card that costs 8+. Then shuffle the rest into your deck. Alright, so I don't know how I feel about this card. This is definitely going to be wanting to play this late game, right? And you're drawing your finishers, your 8 cost cards, which will so for example, the way I see this card being played is on your attack phase. It's a burst speed. You've got Trundle out, right? This is an 8 cost spell, so you are trading it for more 8 cost cards in your deck. It's possible for you to draw, to get value for Trundle's ability where he gets an additional 1 attack for each 8 cost card that you see, you have to pull 2 cards. So this could be kind of like a last ditch effort to get a couple of extra attack points onto the enemy nexus. You're sacrificing this card itself, so it's not going to be in your hand when you attack with Trundle. Keep that in mind. So you do need to draw 2 to actually get value out of this, 2 8+ cards. Yeah, and then you're basically spending 6 mana to pull 8 cost cards that you're not going to be able to play this round, which could feel kind of bad, to be honest. So when's the earliest you can play this? So if you run this in a mana ramp deck, you get Wording Stones out on turn 3. Turn 4, if you have all of your mana saved up, you can play this card, right? And then you can draw a whole bunch of 8+ cards. Hopefully you've got Trundle in your hand. You play Trundle turn 5. You got a whole bunch of 8+ cards in hand, and then yeah, you have just kind of a value generator once Trundle's leveled up. So there's that. I don't know that I necessarily see this card as being super good. More often than not, even if you are running a Trundle deck, you're not running a ton of 8 cost cards in your deck, and the chances of drawing more than one of those is pretty low. Yeah, I think in general within Trundle decks, the most I've really ever seen people run is 6/8 cost cards. So I don't know that you're going to get a lot of value out of this. Trundle kind of gets value out of his champion spell once he's on the board in Icequake, and then also the Ice Pillars. So yeah, there's that. I don't know that I necessarily see this card being included in decks. I don't know. Could be niche. Could be part of like a expedition or something like that. All right. Next card here. 5 cost. Sneaky Zebles. Elusive. Play, you stun enemies with 2 or less power. So this is awesome. This is another synergy card for Targon with Yasuo. This is a 5-drop, so keep in mind that they still need to have 2 enemies need to have 2 or less power once you can play this on turn 5 to get value out of it. And then this is actually a pretty good tech card for certain metas, like aggressive aggro early game metas, where you have a lot of units that have less than 2 power, but kind of their abilities, like the Boom Crew rookie, for example, who's only got 1 power. It might be a good way to take them out if you're running a Yasuo deck. Yeah, just kind of interesting. Elusive 5. This could be a pretty good card depending on the meta. Could be a good card anyway. There's a lot of units out there with 2 or less power, and yeah, you could also combo this with Frostbites and with Ash. That could, well, I don't know that you'd actually necessarily want to combo that with Ash because they basically can't attack anyway on your attack phase. So, but yeah, Frostbites, you could combo this with some other champion. Yeah, I kind of like this card actually. I think it could be good in certain deck archetypes. And then if I'm looking at this card, Sneaky Zebles, this is kind of reeking of Zoe. We'll see what these other cards here at the end though. Overall, this seems like a pretty cool card. Alright, and it looks like the last card, the Crystal Ibex, or Ibex, I guess. Play, grant an ally Overwhelm, a 4-drop card that grants an ally Overwhelm. This reminds me of the Faithful, or the Fey Guide, where you're granting a unit elusive. Very similar concept. This is a permanent buff, however. Actually, I think the Fey Guides is as well. I'm thinking of Cygnus. That's a temporary, but this is a permanent buff where you're granting an ally Overwhelm on turn 4. I think this could actually turn into a pretty good card. Fey Guide really hasn't seen a lot of use, so if we're judging it kind of like the same sort of ability, maybe this won't get that much play, but Overwhelm is an okay ability, especially if you're putting it on a champion like Swain. After you play Swain on turn 5, you could play the Crystal Ibex. The problem with this card is that it does come out earlier if you're playing it on curve, or if this is like the only option that you have, then you have to play it on a smaller card that could that wouldn't generate like the best value, right? You kind of want to hold this in your hand until you get a better unit down, like a Swain, and then you would have to wait until turn 6 before you could play this card and get, maximum value out of it. But yeah. Let's see, this looks like the Mountain Sojourners here, so this just kind of looks like another card that you would use with Taric. So that's interesting that we get the Sneaky Zebolts that kind of look like a Zoe type of card, and we get the Crystal Ibex that looks like it's part of Taric's archetype. Yeah, so we get the Landmark, another Frejlord card, 2 Targon cards. If I were to guess tomorrow, we are not going to be getting a champion reveal tomorrow. It will be an archetype, a new archetype. I imagine, I still think we're getting Soraka this expansion. I'd be very surprised if we got Zoe. And I mean, there's Portal here, right? Which is like a Zoe-esque thing. But this is the only card that we see that kind of resembles Zoe. The Crystal Ibex is not Zoe, so I don't think we're going to get a champion reveal tomorrow. We're going to get more followers and then potentially see Soraka, or possibly a champion from a pre-existing region, not Targon. So Yeah, pretty interesting here. This could be a cool card to work around and to try to fit into decks and get to work. So anyway, that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks.